Chapter 18. Smoke Signal. Prudence raised her head and sniffed 2 times. She stiffened, frowned, and sniffed again. She sprang from her chair, sending the novel she was reading crashing to the floor, and sprinted as fast as her legs could carry her, which was not fast enough, through her bedroom, to the door and into the passageway that led to her living room. She hastened to the staircase and hurtled downstairs, her sniffing nose getting a workout along the way. What was she smelling? "Lola," she called. There was no response. "Constance." No answer. She ran panting into the kitchen and was engulfed by the acrid smoke that swirled around the room. "Lola," she screamed again, and swallowed smoke that sent her into a fit of coughing. She felt for the knob of the stove and extinguished the flame. Still coughing, she flung open the back door and rushed to the veranda. She gulped in air until she felt that she'd cleansed her lungs. "Lola," she screamed, as she re-entered the kitchen. "Coming, Aunt Prudence, coming," Lola answered. She barreled into the room, then retreated to the living room. "What you burn up, Aunt Prudence?" she called through her coughs. "What stupid question you asking me? You ever see me burn anything in here? 3 of us in here. I am sure I didn't leave anything on the stove. You sure it's not you leave your pot on the fire to go watch those infernal movies? Suppose I wasn't here? The whole damn place would burn to the ground, and what the hell would I do?" "Aunt Prudence, I sure it was not me this time," Lola said. She took a dish towel and lifted the pot off the stove and carried it to the sink. "What dis? I can make it out. Everything black." She turned on the tap over the pot, sending hissing steam into the air. Prudence leaned on the table and watched her. Her lips worked, but no words came out, and her eyes flashed as she stared at Lola's back. As if the darts from Prudence's eyes had pierced her back, Lola spun around to face her. "I swear is not me, Aunt Prudence. God believe me." She eyed Prudence, flinching under her stare, but begging her to believe her. "Where is Constance?" Prudence asked. "How the 2 of you down here and you never smell anything?" "I was reading my Bible," Lola said, smiling. "And Aunt Constance sleeping." "Constance sleeping?" Prudence asked, frowning. "Well, it is time for her to wake up. Put pot pon fire and gone to sleep. What go so? Height of blasted carelessness. Watch me and her today. Where you going, Aunt Prudence?" "Aunt Constance say I shouldn't disturb her. She say she was tired and she going to take a nap." Prudence ignored her and strolled towards Constance's room. Lola ran behind her. "Constance," Prudence called, as she entered the passageway. "Constance." She reached Constance's door and banged on it 3 times. She was about to push it open when Constance appeared in front of her. "You going to break down the door? Can't a woman lie down in her own room for a minute? What this hullabaloo for? I don't see any smoke." She glared at Prudence, then at Lola. Prudence glared back. Lola laughed. "I tell her that you don't want anybody botter you, but she don't listen to me," Lola said. "Wait, what that I smelling?" Constance asked, sniffing. She moved into the passageway, her eyes flitting from Lola to Prudence. "You tell me," Prudence snapped. "You put something on the stove and forget it." "I didn't put anything on it, and Lola swear that she didn't." "That leave you?" "Me," Constance said, frowning. "I sure I did not put a thing on that stove. Since I made breakfast and clean up the kitchen and do things round the house that nobody else do, I come right to my room. Somebody leave something on the fire and it is not me." Constance's voice rose on each word and ended on a screech. She squeezed between Prudence and Lola and flip-flopped her way towards the kitchen, muttering, "I leave stove on. After I not stupid. If I put something on the stove, I must remember. Everybody forgets sometimes, Constance," Prudence said, her tone even. "You could put the pot on the stove and tell yourself that you going to lie down for a minute and 1 minute turn into 2 hours. By the condition of that pot, it on the stove long time." Constance spun to face her. "Don't tell me that I do something that I never do." Her face reddened and beads of perspiration formed on her forehead. "Everybody forget, you say. Why you never forget yet, huh? Why you never forget?" she asked, glaring up into Prudence's face. Prudence stepped away from her. She was not going to get into any confrontation with Constance. I forget a whole heap of things, she said. I admit that I make mistakes, but you never do an earthly thing wrong yet, she said, her words tailing off into a sigh. We have to throw out this pot, she said, frowning as she tried to scrub the stuck mess from the pot. Don't throw it away yet, Aunt Prudence, Lola said. We just ave to soak it. Constance grabbed the pot from Prudence. She turned the pot over and examined it. I never use this pot, she said, and shoved it back at Prudence. It is your pot. You use it to boil you bush tea. What in there? She snapped, grabbing the pot again and sniffed it. Smell like fever grass to me. You alone drink those things. No doubt it is you that put the pot on the fire to make your tea and forget it because you head bury in you stupid books. She threw the pot into the sink and flounced out of the kitchen. Nobody take responsibility for a thing in this place. Can't get a little rest. Lola glanced at Prudence. Aunt Constance right. Is your bush pot? Look, she said, holding the pot under Prudence's nose. I can see, Lola, she said, shoving the pot away. Yes. I used that pot but I did not put it on the stove this morning. I used the kettle. I had 2 cups of tea. One with the breakfast and I take 1 cup upstairs. It is still there with the peppermint tea bag in it. Aunt Prudence, you and Aunt Constance not as young as before, you know. You could put the pot on the stove and forget. Before Prudence could say anything, she continued. Old people always forget teaings. Look at what happened to Mass Nate the other day. It must be close to 100. Grandma say he was old when she was little. Him light a candle and forget to out it and gone road bout him gone drink. By the time him reach home, everything burn up. Is a good teaing him never decide to take a nap. Prudence leaned against the counter and folded her arms as she listened to Lola. She was old, so she was not remembering much. Really? So, what is your excuse? She asked Lola. What? Lola asked. What you talking about? I am talking about you not remembering. You left the stove on 2 times, probably more, who knows? I'm not here all the time. You young. What caused you to forget? Lola laughed. Sure, Aunt Prudence, she said. That was different. Really? Why? If I forget something, I am old, and when you forget, that was different. She mimicked Lola's goatee drawl. It was because I was doing something else, Lola said through her giggles. But is true that old people forget teaings. Well, it is true that I am old and I forget some things, but I did not forget that pot on the fire because I did not put it there, Prudence said, and went to the counter to turn on the kettle. Lola frowned. If you don't remember, you just don't remember. You don't know that you don't remember, she said, studying Prudence. Prudence almost smiled. It seemed that Lola didn't believe that she had all her marbles intact. She shrugged. I don't forget the important things, Lola, she said. If she listened to Lola and Constance, she would believe that she was forgetting things. She was sure that she'd not put that pot on the stove. Either Lola or Constance was guilty. Age was Constance's excuse. Carelessness was Lola's excuse. She believed Lola that she hadn't left anything cooking on the stove. She would have remembered. She usually did. Constance was another story. Prudence made her mug of chamomile tea and took a sip of the brew. She held the cup below her lips and seemed to be pondering. This old lady is going to her room, she said. Where is it? She stood there, tapping her chin with her left forefinger, before ambling out of the kitchen. Lola stared wide-eyed after her, dripping water all over the floor.